Hey guys, we are back in the third installment about using growth tools in your marketing. And today, what I'm actually going to be doing is going through using automation services like Integrately or Zapier to create webhooks to drop subscribers or actions into one of my autoresponder platforms. Now, before we get into this, let me talk about what a webhook is exactly. So, a webhook is it looks just like a web URL. It looks just like a website address, but it has a specific function once you design it. And what it is in most cases is a generic mechanism that the website creator or application creator has built where you can take an automation tool or you can take another website, pass some parameters to that URL. It might be a first name and an email address. It might be some other contact details or other things that get passed along that webhook. Sorry, I got a dog barking in the background here. Um, but once you do that, what happens out of it is it completes a process where it connects two things together that would not ordinarily be integrated together, if that makes sense. So, and it will make sense once we walk through it. I wanted to call attention to these two platforms. So, Integrately and Zapier both provide free access where you can get some things for free inside of their platforms. Integrately is newer, and I've actually been looking at and actively migrating my automations from Zapier over to Integrately because they seem to have more. They're cheaper. It seems to be pretty reliable, and I'm gonna let you guys join through my affiliate link if you're not a member of it yet, so you can play around with it. But actually, when you do, I get free tasks, and you can do the same thing as part of their referral program, where you get additional tasks each month. Just those are lifetime tasks added to your account just by referring others. So if you don't mind, if you're not a member of it, I would appreciate it if you sign up through my link. You don't have to buy anything with it unless you want to. But I want to show you how we connect the dots on these things. So I'm going to stick with the two platforms we've been working with ConvertSnap and with ConvertoBot. And I'm going to show you how we do the integration with both Integrately or Zapier. We'll do both of them. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me log into my account for Integrately real quickly. Okay, and as you can see, the first thing it wants you to do is select two applications that you want to work with one another. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is jump over to ConvertSnap, and we are going to go create what's called a modal pop-up. It's going to be a pop-up to capture a lead. So we're going to jump over to this advertising board site that I have set up called adsearnhits.com. And right now I've got one active pop-up that'll show up here in just a minute from ConvertSnap. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And what we're about to do is I'm going to turn that one off for just a moment, and we're going to make a brand new one that's going to capture someone's email address, and it's going to go add it to one of my lists. So we're actually going to add it to Aweber. So when we do the capture here, it's going to jump over to Aweber using that webhook I was telling you about, using Integrately, and it's going to capture that lead and put it into our list. All right, so first thing we want to do is come over to Integrately, select the first thing we want here, which is a webhook. You can just do a search. And now that we've selected a webhook, now we want to integrate it with Aweber. Now, there's many other autoresponder platforms we could be using here, but we're going to go with Aweber first. Okay, so we've got those two selected. You could do more than one, but I only want to do a very simple integration here between a webhook and Aweber. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to provide this webhook URL into ConvertSnap, and in return, Integrately is going to take that when it sees the information and fire it over into Aweber and dump them in the list. So here's how this is going to work. All right. So when this happens, do this. So what we're going to say is whenever this webhook fires, we want to come over here and create a subscriber in Aweber. Click go. We don't want to create more conditions. We just want to jump straight to it. Now you could be very detailed in this. You could have it go do a whole bunch of things. Maybe you've got a CRM system where you want to put somebody in there and start tracking them as a customer. And then you want to add them to a list. And then maybe you want to add a support ticket that gets created after that. You could tie all that together in one automation. And you could do that in either one of these platforms. But with Integrately, so right now we need to go get, some test data over here so that we can test our automation. So what we want to do first is jump over to ConvertSnap. I'm going to turn this one off for just a minute. We're going to make a brand new modal pop-up. So we'll do this one right here. And we're going to gather an email address. We'll just do that. We're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to come over here. I'll delete this when I'm done. But we're going to do this as a test. All right, so we're just going to leave all this stuff in place. We're not going to do any other things right here. We're just going to come over here to the trigger. And we're going to say we want this to delay for 5 seconds. And we want it to show all the time. We want it to display in the middle center of the page. We'll turn off branding. And now, any customization on color we could do right here, which we're not. And data. So here is where we enter the webhook URL. So we're going to click on send caught data to external sources. So this is where it wants that webhook URL, and we're going to send over the email address. So what we're about to do is click over here. Let's see. Am I ready for it? We got to choose a connection to Aweber. I've already got my account defined in here. But this could be Sendio, Get Response, SendLane, any of those, okay? So there's some required things to configure it. So we'll go over here and we'll choose that inside of the account. In the list, I'm going to go put these people in one called Crypto Interests right here. So I chose my list inside my Aweber account. Now the email field, oh, we've not done that yet. Hang on a minute. Now we're going to go create our webhook connection over here and test this. So I'm going to come over and copy the URL that it created for me. This is a specific URL that I'm going to come over here and plug into here. Click update. Now simply turn on my widget. Come back over here. Reload this website. And what should happen is after the website reloads, I don't know why it's taking so long to load here. Hope I didn't break it. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right. In 5 seconds, we should end up seeing a pop-up box, and we did. And I'm going to put a test email in. And I'm going to click sign up. Now it's done. It's fired the data over to Integrately. Okay. And I'm going to put this little checkbox into action here and say I've sent a test record after setting the URL, webhook, API integration. Test connection. If all worked well, we should have test data. So let's go look and see what we've got here. Refresh data. And there it is. It intercepted that email address, even though that email address, I misspelled it by accident. It did get it, and that'll work for the purpose of our test here. So I'm going to come over here to my integration for Aweber. I'm ready to go tell it this is my email address field, which is the email field from the webhook over to Aweber. Since I personalize a lot of my emails, and all ConvertSnap will let you do is gather the email, what I like to do is put friend or something like that in there. So when I'm sending it to a first name variable or placeholder in the autoresponder, it might be hi friend or hey friend and not just blank. Okay. Now if I wanted to do any special tagging over here, Maybe I want that to be ads earned hits as my tag. I know if I ever see that subscriber record, that's where they came from. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead. I'm not going to save this record because it's a misspelled email address. But as soon as I test this out, what would happen is it would go ahead and allow me to test taking this AWeber subscriber and jump over to my list and drop it in there. And then that email address would get the email. But I'm not going to do that since it's a bogus email address. I don't want to have to go delete it. But that's all there is to it. Once you've created that, you end up with automations that look like these. So where is it? Like this one right here. This one's already in place, and this one goes over and drops somebody in my list into my main funnel automation list, and it drops that person in there. And every time somebody sees one of those pop-up boxes and they fill their information out, that's what it does. And over here, same thing. I've got one going to Syndio. It's that simple. So once you've got the integration in place, you just kind of set it and forget it. You don't have to do anything else with it. So I'm going to turn this one off. And I'm actually going to go delete it. Hang on a minute. I'm going to turn that one back on. And that one's fine. So now I'm going to close up ConvertSnap. So that's an example using ConvertSnap with Integrately. Now we're going to come over here and use ConvertoBot to tie back to Zapier. Same type concept, but I'm just going to show you the same thing over here. Now, you may be thinking, well, what if I want to use Integrately and I don't see that over here as a built-in integration? Well, Zapier is built into ConvertoBot as an integration, but also so are webhooks. So you could just come over here to custom webhooks, drop your webhook from Integrately in here, and you're done. Okay, so it works the same either way. But Simon actually has a built-in integration for Zapier. We'll say click here to connect. I'm going to log into my Zapier account. Now, this is a custom private integration that the platform owner, Simon Wood, created for ConvertoBot. So notice it says you've been invited to use ConvertoBot on Zapier. So I'm just going to say accept and build. What that means is you wouldn't see ConvertoBot listed in the public automations for Zapier, but it's supported and he's built a custom one over here. So notice this looks very similar to the other. So we've got our Zap over here, or our dashboard to make Zaps. So we're about to do that right now. We're going to create one. And the event that we want ConvertoBot. There we go. I want to say ConvertoBot is going to trigger dropping into one of the autoresponder platforms. We'll just pick one in a minute. So the trigger event, when the bot triggers this, click continue. It wants me to sign into my account, which we're about to do. There we go. Okay. So now it sees my ConvertoBot account right here. Now, I'm connected to ConvertoBot. It's actually had me log into my account from Zapier. Now I'm going to set up a trigger. So the bot type, you could choose a Facebook bot. So maybe you want to capture the lead from Facebook if you use one of the Facebook bot integrations, or a website bot. We're just going to go with a website bot for now. Now we're going to go select our bot that we want to do this with. I don't know which one I want to use, but we'll just pick one that's out here. Here's one I used to use that I've not deleted yet that's for Arizona chiropractors. We'll just go pick that one. Okay, that one apparently does not have a block set to capture the lead. Let's go see if we can find a different one here. Oh, there it is. I forgot to do that piece. All right, I'm looking for the capture email. There it is. Refresh fields, click continue. Now we need to go test the trigger, okay? So let's click test trigger. It's not seen any data come across yet, so we don't have any way to send it any data. So we're going to go do that real quick. Let's come over to ConvertoBot, which I closed. Let's go find that bot. We're just going to edit that bot real quick. Looking for it currently. There it is. Okay, so we're going to come over here to this bot. I don't even remember what this bot looked like, but we're going to click on it. I think it was appointment setting for chiropractors, but nonetheless, we are going to come over here to publish. We're just going to open up the full page bot and go walk through it. So let's go ahead and do a quick chat. We'll use our test email again. We're saying yes, we would like the coupon, the discount coupon. So now it's going to ask for our information. So we'll give it the phone number. I'll give it a Google Voice number. Here's where the email comes in. Yeah, well, we want the newsletter. It's telling it the email is being sent very soon. So we'll let this sit here for just a moment, and let's jump back over. And let's come up here. What we're looking for. There it is. See where it intercepted the email address from that field? So we just told it to look at that bot again, and it just saw the test record we fired. We're going to click continue. And now what we'll do is we'll go dump this in Aweber as well. Just because I've got the account configured at the moment. We'll create a subscriber. We'll pick my account. We'll choose the list. We'll go dump this one in credit repair tips. That's one I've got on the way out the door anyway, so we'll do that. Name. We are going to pull in the name field, where is it? First name. And the email field is going to be email address. So we got the name field, we got the email address. Any tags, we'll just put chiropractor's bot. Okay, now we click continue. Now it's going to grab the first name, it's going to apply the tag chiropractor bot to that subscriber record, and it's going to use the email address that it found in that bot. So we're going to do a test and review. Valid email address. Why do we have an invalid email address? I may have grabbed the wrong field. Let's come back up here again. This is why you want to test these before you ever turn them on, because you might think you have it all set up and it's not. So let's come back over here again. There's the one with the value in it. That's the one I'm looking for. So let me get rid of that. Let's just do this. I meant to check the one that actually had the value sitting in it. Okay, so now we are about to test it. And now we don't get an error anymore. So now we have our field value. We have everything that came across. So we've got here. Well, let's do this. All right. We'll turn it on. Here's my Zap. Oh, it's because I grabbed the field name, first name, rather than the actual value that was Cynthia that I'd filled in there. But anyway, you get the idea. So you go through there. You want to make sure that your first integration is your webhook. You want your second integration to be your autoresponder or CRM system or Google Sheet, wherever you're trying to send this data to. You want that done. And then when it's finished, you should have a complete end-to-end integration of tying one platform to another that would normally be disparate platforms that didn't have anything to do with one another, if that makes sense. And then inside of ConvertoBot or ConvertSnap, you now have your integration hook in place that you can continue to reuse. This particular one, I told it I wanted to do a specific list, specific action in my integration, but I could have just created a generic URL or integration for Zapier that I could reuse over and over for different bots. Okay, so I made this one for a specific bot, but you could leave off that particular bot and just make it generic where you could continue to use the integration built into here under general settings in Zapier. You would have had that finished integration sitting here. So anytime you got ready to create a new bot, you could just select that integration, then fill in the blanks on what you wanted to do, what you wanted to send over to Zapier and to what list. All right, guys, so I know I rifled through that pretty quickly, but hopefully you get an idea of how this works for using a third-party service to help with automation. There's some other stuff like if this, then that, the IFTTT platform. I'm not a big fan of it, never have been, but a lot of people use it. I think they're going to start charging for it. I'm not positive, but let's look at pricing real quickly on Zapier, and then we'll go look at the pricing on Integrately. So Zapier, you can create a free account. You're very limited in what you can do as a free member. So you get 100 tasks, and you can do a single step in your tasks. You can't do any kind of complex automations. Their starter level package is about $20 a month. I do actually pay the monthly starter package fee right now, and I'm on month to month, so it's $29.99, which is kind of pricey. So what I get inside that starter plan for mine is what you see right here. It's not a whole lot, but you can't even do webhooks in the free one over here. Okay, so you had to do that right here in the paid plan. Now over on Integrately, probably need to log out. In their pricing, they actually let you use webhooks as a free member, which I think is pretty cool. And you get 200 tasks. So a task would be how many times the thing fires. So if it runs once, then that's a task. If it runs again, that's a task, and so forth. So if you've got multiple things tied into your automations, then that could go up as well. You do get a single step automation where it's, take a webhook, drop a subscriber, and an autoresponder, which is probably the most common, and it runs every 15 minutes. Okay. Now with Zapier, it runs, I believe, every 5 minutes, which is probably fine for most. That's what I get in the starter plan over here. So you get 5 automations that you can create. And notice they put the Zapier pricing in here. Zapier gives you 100 tasks for free. They give you 200 for free inside of here. Now, over here in the starter package, it's only $15 a month. And you get 20 automations. It runs every 5 minutes. You can do multiple steps. You get all the check conditions. You get webhooks. You get all those things. And here's where you get the ability to start earning additional tasks, how many times it could run, by simply referring people. And I've referred a few, so I've got a few thousand per month for life that runs, and I get those tasks. But out of the box, for $15 a month, you get 750 tasks for less than what, or for about $25. Actually, this needs to be updated because it's $29.99 now with Zapier. But over here, you get 14,000 tasks instead of 3,500 tasks. So, I mean, that's a stinking pile of tasks that you can do there. And you could go up from there if you ended up getting to the point where you got a lot of automation going. Then for the price of what Zapier would be over there, for $29 a month, you could go with a pro level account over here, and you get unlimited automations where you can make as many of them as you want, and it fires every 2 minutes. And really the only big difference between these is how many tasks you get. Now I noticed over here inside the growth and business plans, you can create sub-users. Okay, so basically an agency type account. I don't have a need for something that elaborate right now, and I sure don't want to spend $100 a month or $250 a month. If I get to that point with it, that's fine, but this suits my needs just fine in the starter plan right now. So here's where it's talking about getting 4 to 7 times more tasks by just referring people. Okay, and you could start a trial if you want and see what this looks like. But I will have the links to both of these services in this video. It'll either, if you're seeing this on YouTube, it'll be in the description down below. If you're seeing it on elsewhere, you will see the link or a button inside the video. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. This wraps up our 3-part series for using growth tools in your marketing. And just as a recap, I will put links to the other 2 videos in here as well for you guys. But in the first one, we talked about using ConvertSnap to use growth tools like pop-up lead capture, doing call to action ads, exit pops, those types of things. And then we talked about chatbots in the second video where we're using ConvertoBot as an example. So go back and look at those if you've not watched them, if you're seeing this one later. And I hope you guys have a great day. Hope this was helpful to you and you can start really implementing these growth tools and improving your conversion rates. Take care.